One of the most powerful, yet misunderstood, aspects of Carl Jung's work is the idea that masculinity is not complete without integrating the anima. Most men are taught to suppress anything that feels soft, emotional, or intuitive, qualities traditionally seen as feminine. But here's the paradox. A man who rejects his anima will never fully embody his masculine energy, because real gravitas comes from integrating discipline with sensitivity, power with emotional intelligence. When Jung speaks of the anima, he's showing men a way to unlock their inner visionary, their capacity for deep creativity and inspiration without losing strength. Think about it like this. Discipline without vision is empty, and vision without discipline is chaos. The anima gives men access to dreams, creativity, and the kind of intuition that makes a man not just strong, but wise. But let's be honest, society rarely teaches men how to embrace this part of themselves. Most guys think being manly means shutting down feelings and pushing through life with brute force. Yet the real game changers, the men who inspire and lead, are those who have integrated the anima, becoming visionaries with direction. They know how to listen to inner dreams while applying focused energy to build something real. And here's a perfect example. Vasily Lomachenko, one of the greatest boxers of our time, didn't start with aggression. He started with dance. That's right. Before he ever threw a punch, Lomachenko trained in ballet, learning grace, fluidity, and balance. Now think about that. Something seen as feminine became his greatest weapon in the ring. His movement, precision, and fluid energy are unmatched, not because he's all brute force, but because he's integrated both sides, the masculine discipline of a fighter and the feminine grace of a dancer. That's archetypal integration in action, and a lesson in personal growth and self-mastery. So when a man rejects his anima, what he's really doing is cutting himself off from half his power. Creativity, dreams, emotional depth. These are not weaknesses. They are sources of strength when balanced with masculinity. A man who has met his anima is not a man who becomes effeminate or weak. He's a man who can lead, create, and inspire because he has integrated his inner world with his outer mission. Carl Jung wasn't talking about becoming softer. He was talking about becoming whole. Someone who has vision and discipline, gravitas and empathy, all working together. And once a man understands that, the question naturally follows: how do I start integrating my anima without losing my edge? This is where dream analysis, reflective practices, and even creative outlets like writing, music, or martial arts come into play. It's about reclaiming parts of yourself society told you to bury, without sacrificing your masculine strength. And that's exactly what leads us into the next layer of this journey. How Jung's anima forces us to rethink what it means to be truly masculine, and how embracing this paradox is the key to real personal growth. Chapter 1: Jung's Anima and the Quest for Balance. Now, here's where things get even more interesting, because Carl Jung's concept of the anima isn't just about embracing softness. It's about understanding that true masculinity is forged through balancing opposites. At first, most men resist this idea, thinking that embracing their anima will make them less manly. But what Jung is really teaching is that without accepting the dreamer inside, the visionary, the creative, the intuitive, you'll never fully develop masculine leadership, discipline, or strength. In other words, integration is the key to real gravitas. You can't lead others if you haven't faced and embraced the deeper parts of yourself. It's a paradox that many don't understand. The more a man integrates his anima, the more masculine he becomes, not less. Why? Because when you connect with that deep inner energy, your dreams, inspiration, and creativity, you suddenly have a vision worth fighting for. And vision is what gives masculine discipline its purpose. Otherwise, what are you working for? Just survival? No. The anima gives you the fire to chase something greater. And when that vision is combined with assertive action, you become unstoppable. It's like combining Nietzsche's will to power with Jung's depth of the unconscious, a force of nature with a mission. But let's be real, embracing the anima isn't an easy path. Society has trained men to think in straight lines. Be strong, don't feel, just act. So when Jung talks about looking inward, facing your dreams and shadows, most guys feel lost. And yet, this is where real masculinity is forged, in the fires of self-discovery. Personal growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when a man has the courage to face his inner world and pull out the energy that can drive his life forward. And trust me, once you tap into that source, you stop living reactively and start leading your life with vision. Think about leaders you admire, whether in business, art, or life. The ones who truly lead are not just disciplined, they're visionaries. They have energy, direction, and creativity that inspire others to follow. That's the power of archetypal integration, when a man knows how to dream, but also knows how to act. It's what makes the difference between a man who talks about goals and a man who makes them happen. So when Jung says to embrace the anima, he's inviting you to become that man, to integrate the dreamer with the doer. And it starts by accepting that both energies live inside you, waiting to be brought together. And once you start walking this path, another question hits you hard. How do we discover what's really inside us? What dreams, visions, and energies are hidden beyond what we show to the world? And this takes us right into that vulnerable stage of life where many of us first encounter the anima without even realizing it. The chaos and confusion of the college years, where self-discovery and societal pressure collide. Chapter 2. The College Experience and Self-Discovery. College is often painted as this magical place where you find yourself. But for many, it's actually where they get the most lost. It's where the tension between personal growth and societal pressure hits you in the face. You're thrown into this world of expectations. Figure out your career, fit in, succeed. While inside, you're still trying to understand who you are. And for many men, this is the first real encounter with the anima, even if they don't know it yet. Dreams, inspiration, and deep longing for meaning start to bubble up. But without masculine discipline to guide that energy, it often gets wasted in endless parties, shallow relationships, and trying to impress others. It's like there's this deep visionary part of you, your anima, your inner muse, whispering that you're meant for something greater. But when you haven't developed masculinity through discipline and leadership, you don't know what to do with that energy. So what happens? You chase validation, going to parties, sleeping around, trying to feel like a man through external approval. But deep down, you know it's not real. You know that what you crave is a vision, a purpose, but nobody teaches you how to find that. And that's why integration of anima and masculine energy becomes so crucial. You need both the dream and the structure to become who you're meant to be. Looking back, you realize college was never about just studying. It was about self-discovery. But the problem is, our educational system doesn't teach you how to integrate those inner forces. Nobody pulls you aside to say, hey, you're not crazy. What you're feeling is the battle between your anima and your unformed masculinity. Instead, they give you intellectual jargon and expect you to figure out. But figuring out your inner world takes more than books. It takes energy, vision, and a real exploration of who you are beyond societal masks. And sadly, many never get that guidance. So they drift, lost in self-doubt and effeminacy, lacking both direction and creative spark. And that's why so many men leave college feeling more confused than when they entered. They've activated their dreams and anima, but have no masculine container to give those dreams shape. Creativity without discipline becomes chaos, and discipline without vision becomes dead routine. So you need to ask, what am I doing with my dreams? Am I letting them die in fear and distraction, or am I taking action? And this is where self-discovery turns into leadership. When you decide to lead yourself first before trying to lead anyone else. Carl Jung and Nietzsche both knew that real individuality only comes when you stop living for external approval and start living for a deeper mission. But here's the thing. Once you realize you've been trapped between dreams and aimlessness, the next step becomes clear. How do you bring vision and action together? How do you turn your inner muse into something real, something built? And that's where we head next. Understanding why vision alone is not enough, and how practical skills and masculine discipline are essential for success and real personal development. Chapter 3. The role of vision and practical skills in success. Here's where most people, especially men trying to find themselves, get stuck. They have vision, but no practical skills to make it real. You sit there dreaming about the life you want, the success you imagine, maybe even picturing relationships and leadership roles, but nothing moves. Why? Because vision without action is just fantasy. And this is one of the harshest but most important lessons of personal growth. Your dreams mean nothing without the masculine discipline to bring them into form. This is what Carl Jung's Anima whispers to you, that your dreams are sacred, but unless you learn how to shape them, they'll die inside you. Most young men have these huge ambitions. Write a book, start a business, build a movement. But when it comes time to actually work, to study, to learn real-world skills, to face rejection, they fall back into the comfort of dreaming. And let me tell you, masculinity is not built in dreams, it's built in action. Nietzsche reminds us that strength is forged in struggle, and if you avoid the grind, you'll never build the kind of life your anima is calling you to. So yes, you need a dream, but you also need to build the muscles, discipline, and gravitas that give your dreams weight in reality. I've seen so many guys drop out of college because they had vision but no practical roadmap. They wanted to become successful, but had no idea how to write a business plan, build relationships, or even manage their own mind. And when they realized that inspiration alone wasn't enough, they burned out. What they needed was mentorship, leadership, and discipline, not more feel-good motivation. That's why finding mentors who have walked this path is crucial. You need someone who can help you combine your visionary anima with masculine structure. Someone who can show you how to turn energy into action. If you're wondering how to start, here's a practical step. Pick one skill that moves your vision forward and commit to mastering it. If you want to lead, learn leadership. If you want to create, learn writing, business, or communication. Discipline your energy towards something real. Because the truth is, creativity without a container is wasted energy. You can't expect to feel inspired every day. You have to build habits and frameworks that force you to act even when motivation fades. That's the masculine principle in action, building a world that the anima only dreams about. And once you begin walking that path, there's something else you'll realize. Some men try to cheat this process using shortcuts like psychedelics or substances to feel inspired. But those shortcuts can never replace the real work. And that's where we'll head next. Why relying on drugs or psychedelics to activate creativity is a trap, and what true, sustainable inspiration looks like when you've integrated your inner masculine and anima energies. Chapter 4. The role of drugs and psychedelics in creativity. Now, let's get brutally honest. A lot of people chase their anima and creativity through shortcuts like psychedelics. It's tempting, right? You feel lost, disconnected from your dreams, and suddenly someone says, "Take this and you'll unlock your inner world." And for a moment, it works. You feel alive, inspired, like you've tapped into some mystical muse that fills you with vision and energy. But here's the hard truth. What comes easy doesn't stay. Carl Jung would say that true integration of the anima requires conscious work, not chemical doors that swing open and slam shut. You can't rely on LSD or MDMA to do what only discipline and inner work can truly sustain. The real problem is that psychedelics give you a glimpse of what could be, but not the tools to get there. You have visions, yes. You see what you could create, who you could become. But when the high fades, you're left with no roadmap, no discipline, and often more confusion than clarity. And this is the danger. Chasing the anima without a masculine framework to ground her gifts. Instead of building real creativity through daily effort, guys keep trying to shortcut the process, hoping the next trip will finally fix them. But real personal growth and archetypal integration are built through consistent action, not temporary illusions. Of course, I'm not saying there's zero value in psychedelics. Sometimes they can wake you up to what you've been ignoring, show you where you're out of alignment. But if you don't follow that insight with serious, grounded work, like dream analysis, creative discipline, or building real skills, it means nothing. Jung himself used dreams and visions as symbols to analyze, not as escapes. And that's the key. Use the inspiration, but build the vessel to hold it. Otherwise, you're like a man trying to catch water in his hands. No matter how much flows in, it always leaks out without a container. So ask yourself, am I chasing the feeling of inspiration, or am I building something real? Because real creativity, the kind that builds careers, relationships, and leadership, comes from sustained energy, not peaks and crashes. If you're serious about becoming a visionary leader, you need discipline to carry your visions into the world, not just feel them for a few hours. You need to integrate the muse, Anima, into your masculine framework so that she fuels your action, not just haunt your dreams. That's how Nietzsche's individuality and Jung's integration work together, by turning raw inspiration into real leadership and success. And that brings us naturally to a deeper level of this process. How do you truly integrate these two forces, visionary anima and disciplined masculinity, to create lasting personal growth? Because once you give up the shortcuts, the real path of integration and self-actualization begins. Chapter 5. Integration and Personal Growth. Here's where everything starts to come together. The real work of integrating the anima and masculine energy into one powerful, authentic self. Carl Jung wasn't just giving us an intellectual game when he spoke of the anima. He was pointing at the heart of personal growth and self-actualization. You see, most men are split in half. On one side, they have dreams, inspiration, creativity, the anima. On the other, they have discipline, action, and logic, the masculine. But until you learn to bring these forces together, you'll always feel like something is missing. You'll either be a dreamer with no direction, or a disciplined man with no soul. So what does integration look like? It's when you stop fighting between being tough or creative and realize that real masculinity contains both. A man who knows his vision and has the discipline to pursue it is a force of nature. Imagine a man who has the depth to dream big, to be inspired, to feel connected to something greater, and then has the energy, focus, and leadership to make it happen. That's what happens when the archetypes of anima and masculine discipline are united. You don't give up your strength to embrace creativity. You become more powerful because you have both working together. And here's a practical example. Think about artists or entrepreneurs who are truly successful. They don't just sit around dreaming. They wake up, take action, stay disciplined, and work through resistance. Their creativity is channeled through structure, and that's what makes them different from people who only talk about ideas. So if you want to grow, start with one creative vision, a project, a dream, and then build a masculine structure around it. A plan, a daily habit, deadlines, and accountability. This is how you turn inner energy into outer success, by giving your anima a masculine vessel to flow through. And here's the deeper beauty of this process. When you integrate, you stop living a divided life. You're no longer split between who you are in private, your dreams, your sensitivity, your inspiration, and who you are in public, your discipline, focus, and gravitas. Instead, you become one whole man, fully aligned inside and out. That's when relationships change, leadership grows, and your life starts moving forward in ways you couldn't imagine before. You become a man who leads with vision and action, capable of inspiring others because you've inspired yourself first. And that's the kind of masculine presence that commands respect without demanding it. But here's where the real test comes in. Once you've tasted that integration, how do you sustain it? Because inspiration fades, discipline wavers, and life hits you hard. So the next piece we need to explore is exactly that. The challenge of maintaining your energy and vision in the real world, where distractions and doubt constantly try to pull you off track. Chapter 6. The challenge of sustaining energy and vision. Here's the hard part that almost no one talks about. Once you integrate the anima and masculine energy, how do you keep it alive? Because let's be honest, inspiration fades, and life has a way of testing every dream you've ever had. Carl Jung knew this. Integration isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. You might wake up one day full of vision, ready to lead, create, and grow. But by the next week, you're drained, doubting yourself, and wondering if you've lost the spark. And that's where discipline and masculine structure have to step in to hold space for the anima, to protect that creative energy so it doesn't get crushed by the chaos of daily life. It's like having a flame inside you, your vision, your inspiration, your anima, and the world keeps throwing wind at it. If you don't have a container to protect and feed that flame, it goes out. And that container is built from habits, discipline, and purpose. You need routines that keep you connected to your vision, whether it's daily journaling, dream analysis, physical training, or deep creative work. The masculine part of you, the one who leads, focuses, and acts, has to guard the visionary energy. Otherwise, you'll fall back into distraction, effeminacy, or chasing external validation to feel alive again. Self-mastery is learning how to protect that inner flame. And let's be real, this struggle shows up in relationships too. If you don't have a clear masculine vision, your anima will run wild, leading to unstable emotions, unhealthy attachments, and confusion in intimacy. The anima needs direction, just like creative energy needs a mission. That's why so many guys struggle in relationships. They bring all this deep emotional energy, but no grounded leadership to guide it. Women can feel that. People around you can feel that. And if you don't lead yourself, how can you expect to lead anyone else? Sustaining vision means sustaining masculine leadership in every area of life, especially your energy. So how do you practically maintain this balance? One way is reminding yourself daily of your purpose. What are you building? Why are you building it? And then aligning your actions with that mission. Another way is surrounding yourself with other men on the same path. People who can hold you accountable, sharpen you, challenge you. Masculinity grows stronger in brotherhood. And when your energy starts to slip, you need people who will call you back to your higher standard. This is why personal development and leadership aren't solo games. You need structure inside and out to sustain the vision. And here's where this leads us. If sustaining energy and vision requires masculine leadership, then where did we go wrong in learning to lead? Why did we grow up in a system that taught us how to memorize facts, but never how to develop real leadership or personal vision? This opens a huge question about the failure of the Western educational system, and why reclaiming Nietzsche's and Jung's call for self-creation is the next step in truly becoming a man of vision and discipline. Chapter 7. The Western Canon and Personal Vision. Here's where we need to take a hard look at the system that shaped us, the Western educational system. Because if we're being honest, it failed to teach men how to develop real vision and leadership. Instead of teaching discipline, self-mastery, creativity, and gravitas, it gave us jargon, empty theories, and a checklist of grades to chase. Carl Jung and Nietzsche both saw this coming. A world full of educated people with no individuality, no inner fire, no mission. Men who can quote books but can't lead their own lives. And this is why so many guys leave school feeling lost, disconnected from their dreams, and unsure of how to become something real in the world. Nietzsche's call for the creation of the Übermensch wasn't about creating a superhuman. It was about building a man who creates his own values and leads with personal vision. But where are those teachings in school? Where are the lessons on archetypes, discipline, energy, and masculine leadership? Instead, we're told to be ourselves without being taught how to build a self-worth being. No wonder so many men fall into depression, anxiety, or effeminacy. The system gave them books, but no wisdom. And let's be honest, reading Jung or Nietzsche on your own is already a path of rebellion against that shallow system. It's the start of claiming back your masculinity and vision. What we need today is a new vision of leadership and personal growth, something that merges the wisdom of the Anima, creativity, dreams, inspiration, with the grounded energy of masculine discipline. A path where men are taught to create themselves like an artwork, not just memorize other people's thoughts. And yes, this requires going beyond books. It's about action. You can read every philosopher in history, but if you don't put it into practice, if you don't shape your own life around that knowledge, you've wasted it. Vision without action is dead, and action without vision is empty. Masculinity needs both. And here's a truth most men need to hear. You can't keep waiting for someone to teach you how to live. At some point, you have to become your own leader, the one who decides what kind of man you're going to be. That's what Jung meant when he spoke of individuation, the path of creating your own soul, your own destiny. And that's what Nietzsche meant when he said we must become who we are. No school, no system is going to do this for you. It's on you to combine the visionary anima and the masculine drive to build something powerful out of yourself. But if that's the challenge, then who do we look to as models? Who are the men in history who embodied both vision and action, who didn't just dream but conquered reality through leadership? And that takes us to our next topic, the model of visionary leadership, and why men like Caesar and Napoleon remain timeless examples of integrated masculine power. Chapter 8. The Visionary Leadership Model. Now let's talk about what real leadership looks like. Because if you've been following this journey, you already know that masculinity without vision is empty, and vision without action is weak. And when you look back at history, the men who shaped the world, Caesar, Napoleon, even figures like Alexander, were not just dreamers or warriors. They were visionaries with the discipline and gravitas to make their vision real. These men weren't sitting around hoping for inspiration to strike. They built empires through a balance of inspiration, action, and ruthless focus. And that's the model of leadership Carl Jung and Nietzsche both hint at, a man who unites anima and masculine force in one unstoppable presence. What made these leaders powerful wasn't just their military skill. It was their ability to inspire others through vision, to embody personal discipline, and to lead from the front. Think about it. Caesar didn't just order men into battle. He marched with them. He combined visionary thinking with relentless action, showing what a man can achieve when he aligns his inner world with his outer mission. And that's what today's world is starving for. Leaders who don't just talk about success, but who live it, breathe it, and inspire others by example. Leaders who have faced their anima, integrated it, and know how to lead with both strength and depth. But let's bring this back to real life. You don't have to be Caesar or Napoleon to live this way. You can become a leader in your own world, in your business, your family, your creative projects, and relationships. And it starts by asking, what is my vision? What do I want to build? And am I disciplined enough to do the work every day? Because let me tell you, charisma without discipline is nothing. You can inspire people once, but if you can't follow through, they won't follow you for long. That's why true leadership is about mastering yourself first, integrating the Anima's vision with masculine action. If you want to embody this kind of leadership, here's a powerful exercise. Write down your vision as if you were leading an army into battle. What are you fighting for? What are you building? Then ask, what actions do I need to take daily to make this vision real? Because vision without structure dies, and structure without vision is slavery. But when you put them together, you become unstoppable. You become a man people want to follow because you've done the inner work to know where you're going and the outer work to get there. Archetypal integration isn't just about psychology. It's the foundation of real leadership. And when you think about that, one final question starts to form. How do I become the kind of man who not only leads myself but inspires others to follow? Someone who commands respect without demanding it. And this leads us straight into the conclusion of this journey. Understanding how to apply all this knowledge to become that man in the real world, every single day. Conclusion. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. No more excuses. Now let me ask you, what part of your anima have you been running from? Is it the dreams you're too afraid to pursue? The creativity you've shut down? Or maybe the emotional depth you think makes you weak? Because here's the truth. If you don't face that part of yourself, you'll never step into full masculine power. You'll keep chasing distractions, fake strength, and shallow validation, while deep down, you know something's missing. So, what would happen if today you finally faced that part of yourself and integrated it? What would your life look like if you brought together vision and action, creativity and discipline, anima and masculinity? And think about this. What's one dream you've been carrying inside but haven't acted on? What's stopping you? Fear, doubt, waiting for permission? Because if you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. No more excuses. Jung teaches us that true leadership, real masculinity, comes from facing our inner world and leading from there. So what would happen if you took one step today, one action, toward building the life your anima keeps showing you in dreams? Because if you don't act, someone else's vision will run your life. Let me challenge you right now. Drop in the comments one part of yourself you're ready to integrate. Maybe it's your creativity, your visionary side, or even your discipline. What are you ready to reclaim? And let's talk about it, because you're not alone in this. There's a whole group of us walking this path of self-discovery, masculine growth, and leadership. And if this resonated with you, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it, live it, and be the example of a man who leads himself first. If you want to keep learning how to integrate your anima, build real masculine power, and create a vision worth following, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we're diving even deeper into Carl Jung, archetypes, masculine energy, and leadership in upcoming videos. And trust me, this is just the beginning of becoming the man you were always meant to be. So what are you waiting for? Are you going to step up or keep running in circles? Let me know below, because the real journey starts when you say yes to yourself.